Hi guys, so I want to talk a little bit about treespiracy. Treespiracy is the idea that trees are more intelligent than humans and have conspiracies to harm us. So let's begin with how I thought about this. Um, we have the idea of like a spectrum of intelligence, or a spectrum of consciousness, really. Which not everyone subscribes to, but so how it works is that there are some animals that have very little relatively intelligence or consciousness. Some animals are more intelligent than other animals. Humans, as we know, are scientifically animals, and they seem to be more intelligent than any other animals on the planet. Well, they are, because trees aren't animals. But we'll get into that. So yeah, and in that line of reasoning, there is not any kind of intrinsic difference between the intelligence of an animal and intelligence of human. Humans might be a lot more intelligent than the most intelligent other species, which might be apes or something like that. But at least in this theory, there's not an intrinsic difference, maybe a large gap, but it's not some kind of dichotomy where there is some ability that humans have that animals don't have, like a core ability that humans have that animals don't have at all. But that gets into a lot of stuff. So it could be argued that humans are a relative level above all the other animals on Earth. The reason for this is that, well, I don't know the reason for it, but if you think about it, I'm God, and I'm gonna tell you guys the reason that we're the most intelligent species. Humans that coexist with animals, but there's a lot of things that animals can't understand and that they could never understand. You can never teach your dog calculus no matter how long you try. Probably, so, similarly, there could be a species that is more intelligent than humans, actually so much more intelligent than humans, that we couldn't understand a lot of the stuff they know, even if they tried to explain it to us for years. There's just so much stuff that we can't even comprehend because of the size of our minds. Now, where was I going with that? Yeah, so I've heard this argument a lot. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I've heard people talk about it with regards to like alien life forms and other things. What I've never heard it talked about is other species on Earth. Okay, so hear me out. So, dogs and humans, right? So we live together. I have a dog. She was just in here. My dog lives with us all the time. And not only are there so many things that we know that we could never explain to her, she doesn't even realize the intelligence gap. Besides all the stuff that we know, like calculus and how to do other stuff, build cars, what she also doesn't know and can't understand is that there's so much stuff that she doesn't know and can't understand that we know. She can't even recognize the gap of intelligence. I'm talking about my dog. The animals in general, they don't even understand how much more intelligent we are. And they could never understand that, even though they see us. Some animals more than others. Dogs often interact with humans. Even if I see a deer in the woods, it doesn't know that I'm more intelligent than it. It doesn't know that my species built the path that I'm walking along down the woods. It doesn't realize that at all. Animals in a farm, they don't really know that the reason they're there is that humans have agriculturalized them and use them for food. They might understand that to some degree, but They don't understand that another species is completely controlling their species, or at least to a large degree. And the thing is, though, they live right alongside us and see us. We're so sure that, okay, I have to just stop and say that I don't actually, like, believe this. I can't go on, like, for too long without saying that. It just, like, feels bad. Yeah, like, okay, this is all fake, but I just hear me out. Okay, so there could be this part is real. There could be a species on Earth that's more intelligent than humans. On Earth, not just in outer space. Because if it were that much more intelligent than us, on such a higher level of consciousness that we can't understand, we could never understand most of the stuff that they know, we probably wouldn't even be able to recognize that level of intelligence when we saw it. Just like animals can't recognize our level of intelligence because they don't understand it. There could be stuff that we see and pass off as not being intelligent, or at least not more intelligent than us, and in fact we're completely wrong. And what do we pass by every day without, you know, giving a second glance, just thinking they're so dumb? Trees. And, yeah. So, this, okay, but this is true. I feel like this is true. I think it's possible that there could be a species that's more intelligent than us on Earth that we don't realize. And I think that if there were, and if that were true, one of my top guesses as to what that species would be might be trees. Yeah, so me and my sister turned it into this huge thing. So, like, spread the word about Treespiracy. We have, like, brochures. We have, like, I'm making, like, cartoons. So much stuff. I could tell you guys so much stuff about it, but this is kind of getting long. But, basically just, you know, now that you're enlightened, just spread the word because we're trying to get the word out. But I'll just fill you guys in a little bit about what's going on. So, here's the fiction. Trees are controlling us in ways that we don't realize. We don't realize it. For one, why do we constantly plant trees and obsess about trees are being cut down? That's their idea. There's no problem with them being cut down. Why do we try so hard to preserve them? And we also plant them all over our neighborhoods as decorations so they can see everything we're doing. Christmas trees, they're in our houses, people. Huge trees make our way into their houses, into our house. Do you think that's a coincidence? No. They made up those ideas. The entire environmental movement that's going on right now, it's the trees. The trees are controlling the government mostly, and everything about global warming and and what's the solution? Trees. Trees make themselves out to be the solution to everything. They want us to think that we need them when we don't. What's going on is we cut them down. They can't stop us because although they're superior intellect, just like humans are so much smarter than animals, but we aren't very, like, fierce, like we aren't particularly fast or large or like good hunters, really. Trees, despite their intelligence, are immobile. And because of that, there's a lot that they're lacking. Also, they, well, let's go with that. So, trees are, immobile. So, they're having trouble stopping us from cutting them down. We cut them down a lot. They're really angry, and they're gonna get revenge. And this is how they're doing it, and this is how they're seizing power. Now, let me tell you about something. And this is called the myth of photosynthesis. Okay. Photosynthesis is not a thing. You learn this from, you know, kindergarten, that trees take carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen, then we breathe the oxygen and turn it into carbon dioxide. If there were no trees, we would all die. Yeah, right. Why are trees so important? They want us to believe that they're necessary for our survival, that there's some kind of global warming crisis and that they are the solution to it. All these ridiculous things. So many just ridiculous stories about the Buddha gaining enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. I don't know how to say it, Bodhi tree. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Buddha getting enlightenment under a tree. The tree that Christ was hung on. All of our religions are created by the trees, and they're completely centered around trees. What was Christ hung on? It was a tree. It was a wooden cross. So much other things. The apple tree in the Garden of Eden. And recently, when in history we're learning about Newton, you always hear the story, an apple falls to his head and he discovers gravity. So basically, a tree discovered gravity. No, a tree didn't discover gravity. We discovered gravity. They make up those stories to make us believe that we need them, that we're dependent on them, and that they are the solution to all of our problems. There's a reason we plant them all along our streets. It's not that they're particularly good looking. They're not. It's that they've convinced us that they are beautiful and should be placed all along the streets and sidewalks and all through the woods and forests of the world so they can populate, spread their words, spread their plans. Now, how do trees communicate with each other? The wind. Think about it. What purpose does the wind serve? Oh wait, nothing. There's no point to the wind, right? It's how trees communicate. That's trees talking to each other. That's how trees communicate. Now, they also know other languages. They pick up things like when people like walk under them. So, I mean, depending on how many human languages they speak depends on how many people walk by them on a daily basis. And, but it's really important that we get trees out of our proximity because the more they hear us speak, the more they learn about us. They are immobile. We're mobile. We can get away from them, we can cut them down. But when we let them come so close to us, we're walking under them, talking with our friends every day. They hear everything we say. They can't read our minds, but they can hear. We need to stop talking when trees are around. The more they learn, the more they know about us, the more they can use it to their advantage. They're not using their superior intelligence to benefit us, to benefit really the world. I mean, do we do that for animals? No. I mean, come on, we take advantage of animals for our own use. I mean, not saying anything about that, but yeah, we exploit animals. That's what the trees are doing to us. Kind of like payback, kind of like karma. But what are you gonna do? So, yeah, I could tell you guys so much more about it, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I have a lot of stuff about it in the brochure. I can't really remember. But yeah, so, and another thing is like when we plant them all together in forests, like they're immobile, so they can only spread the word like from one tree to another, like as the like wind blows, you know? It's like, so, but like eventually it starts with one tree who hears one thing from a human passing under, it goes out, all the trees in the world know about it. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, trees, they know things about trees that they're not telling us. Yeah, so that's all. Spread the word about Treespiracy, guys. Bye.